Oh, hey there. Do you want to become the embodiment of a titan in a hunter's body? And do you want to punch a taken thrall so hard they crumble up like a tin can? If so, then I have the perfect build for you today. So let's just get right into it. So first off, as always, we're going to be talking about the exotic the build is based off. This build is based off the exotic Assassin's Cowl, in which its exotic perk states, powered melee final blows grant invisibility and restore a portion of health and shields. Finishes and final blows against more powerful targets increase the duration of the invisibility and the amount of health and shields restored. And because we're using that exotic, we're going to want to build upon our powered melee. So because of this, we're going to be using the Arc Melee Combination Blow. This melee grows in strength per kill up to 3 stacks. And it also fully refills your class ability and restores a small amount of health on kill. This is amazing because we're also going to be using Gambler's Dodge. This dodge allows you to fully replenish your melee if you dodge near combatants. Now think of this for a second. If you get a melee kill, you get your dodge back. If you dodge, you get your melee back. It's an infinite loop of melee, dodge, melee, dodge. And to increase the power of our melee and dodging spam, we're going to be running the Arc Aspect Lethal Current. This is amazing for the build because it states, after dodging, which we're going to be doing a lot, your next melee attack, which we're also going to be doing a lot, has increased lunge range, jolts the target, and creates a damaging aftershock. Damaging any jolted target with melee attacks also blinds them. So thanks to this, we're pretty much always going to have increased lunge range, thanks to the fact we're dodging all the time. We're going to have jolting for a ton of ad clear, and we're also going to have blinding, so we can also run this in high level activities. So let's finish talking about the core abilities for our build. We're going to be running the super ability Gathering Storm because it's the highest damaging super ability for hunters on the Arc subclass. And we're also going to be running Pulse Grenade because, once again, in my opinion, like I stated last video, Pulse Grenade is the best Arc grenade and I love it so much. You can use whatever grenade you want, but I highly suggest Pulse Grenade. So let's talk about our second and final aspect, shall we? I'm going to be running Flow State because it states defeating a jolted target makes you amplified. While you are amplified, your dodge recharges more quickly and you are more resilient while dodging, and your reload speed is greatly increased. Now I'm using this because if we dodge and then melee, thanks to our other aspect, it jolts targets, so we're going to be amplified a lot. And while we're amplified, we get resilient while dodging, we're going to dodge a lot, and we reload faster to make up for the fact that we're using Gambler's Dodge instead of the other one. So let's talk about the fragments now, shall we? I'm running Spark of Feedback with this, which states, taking melee damage briefly increases your outgoing melee damage, and it also gives 10 resilience. So this buffs our melee damage even more, which is amazing, so you can keep getting more kills, and it's also very nice just to have for the resilience, since resilience is a very good stat to have. Now onto the second fragment, I'm running Spark of Shock. I run this fragment with almost every single Arc build I make, just because of how amazing it is with Pulse Grenade. It makes your grenades do slightly more damage thanks to Jolt, it makes them do way better ad clear thanks to Jolt, and it is just so worth the minus 10 discipline, because it barely changes anything because of the amount of benefits you get from it. And now onto the third fragment, I'm running Spark of Resistance. If you watched the last video on the Vesper Radius build, which you probably should, it's quite a fun build, then you'll remember this. While surrounded by combatants, you are more resistant to incoming damage, plus 10 strength. Now the strength doesn't really matter because we're dodging and getting the melee back instantly anyway, but it's always nice to have a little bit of damage resist when you're surrounded by enemies, because you have to be close to get a melee hit and to get the Gambler's Dodge effect. So this will just be a nice thing to have, because you're not always invisible if you can't get the kill. And then onto the final fragment, I'm running Spark of Magnitude. This is because we're going to have a ton of grenade regen from some mods we'll talk about in a second, so we might as well buff the Pulse Grenade even more. We've made it jolt already, so why not make it last longer so it can have extra jolt, because it has more time to jolt. This is just a very nice fragment to have, and I love running it with most builds because of Pulse Grenade. I just love Pulse Grenade too much with Arc. And now that we're done talking about what to run with the subclass, let's talk about the weapon. I highly suggest running a shotgun with the perk 1-2 Punch, which states hitting an enemy with every pellet in a shot increases melee damage for a short duration. It's very nice because, you know, you want your melee to do more damage. I'm running this on a random shotgun I found in Season of the Haunted, but for the new season coming out soon, I suggest running an arc shotgun so you can run Monochromatic Maestro with this to make your melee do even more damage. And now that we're done talking about the subclass and weapons, let's talk about the armor mods. Now, on your Assassin's Cowl, you're going to want to run a Dynamo and a Hands-On, so you can get super energy every time you get a melee kill and every time you dodge near combatants, and you're going to be doing both of these a lot. And if you have enough energy, as in if you're not running a stat mod, I suggest running double Hands-On. I did this when there was a artifact mod to make your melee mods only 1 energy, but now that that's gone, I can't afford to wear 2. But if you can, go for it. And as for your arms, I suggest 1 heavy-handed, so every melee kill you get creates an orb of power. Oh, what's this build based around again? That's right, melee kills, so we're going to be making a ton of orbs. And I also suggest a double impact induction, which states causing damage with a melee attack reduces your grenade cooldown. We're going to be meleeing all the time, which means our grenade is going to constantly regen very, very quickly. And as for the chest, I suggest running 2 resists of whatever you need for the activity you're currently doing, and 1 emergency reinforcement. This is a just in case mod, just in case your shields get cracked and you might die. Because we're going to be making a ton of orbs anyway with melee kills, we might as well run this. It's always going to be fueled from melee kills, and it's just a very nice thing to have just in case. So now let's talk about the legs. I suggest running double Absolution, which states reduces all ability cooldowns each time you pick up an orb of power. This is very nice just in case you ever don't have a melee or you don't have your dodge, or both because they feed into each other. And also 1 Innovation mod, which reduces grenade cooldown each time you pick up an orb of power. Very nice because we're always going to be picking up orbs and we want our grenade back faster since this is the only one we cannot reliably instantly get back. Now, as for the final bit of armor, for the cloak, I suggest running Powerful Attraction, so every time you dodge, you pick up any orbs nearby, just in case you didn't pick them up when you killed them. It's very nice because we're almost always going to be dodging, and almost always going to be making orbs. That's amazing. And I also suggest Double Bomber, because we're always going to be dodging, so it's very nice just to get a little bit of grenade back every single time. And that's it for the build. I hope you enjoyed the video and I hope you use this build in your regular gameplay. This is the build that originally made me stop neglecting my hunter so much. It's still neglected, but this build made me actually care about my hunter and decide to finally play it a little bit more than I originally did. Of course now I also have a bunch more hunter builds which I'll showcase eventually. I've already showcased one of them. But this was the build that originally made my hunter seem worth it to me. And now also I'm going to thank you again, which seems to be a running thing in these videos. After the last video, we broke 200 subscribers, so thank you so much for that. And I also just want to thank you for the amount of views on the skating video. Skating is my favourite thing to do in this game, and it's amazing that I have over 27,000 views on a video, like, as a tutorial on how to skate. That's amazing to me, because it's my favourite thing to do in this game. I'm just so happy that everyone likes it so much. So, once again, thank you all, and I will see you in the next video.